Hey, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Moms in the Huddle. We're in the huddle. No parent stands alone. I am your host, Erica Morgan, and mom of two boys, Tyler Tice and Samaj Morgan of the University of Michigan, wide receiver, Go Blue. And I just want to let you know I'm here with my sister girl host,
Yes,
which is
yes,
Jillian, not just my sister girl in the spirit, but my sister girl host in the huddle,
in the
Miss Jillian.
huddle.
Go
I
ahead, Jillian.
go blue. Anyway, I had to get that out.
Oh, I love it, Jillian. You
I
did
said
it.
go blue.
You did
Right.
it.
Anyway, my name is Jillian Blackwell, and I'm also the host. And I'm a mother of three boys: Big Mac, JC, Jonathan Christian Perry Blackwell, long name, and Lil Rob, who actually would have his surgery today. He pulled his ACL. So
Oh,
pray for Lil Robert. But that's why we're here. We're in a huddle because we have lived this life a long time, being in the huddle, being on bleachers, being in stands, being in the rain, being outside, going to AAU, all of that. We've been together. Erica, you and I have been together for a long time.
we have, at least since our boys play AAU together with the family. So we've
Yeah.
been, and and they played in the junior NBA together. I think that was the second annual NBA, junior NBA. So
And the
they've been
only
together.
and the only junior NBA
It
that they've
sure
had.
was.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that is a lot. That's a lot. Well, I
Yeah.
will say, well, in the huddle, we talk about no parent stands alone. Not only that, we're talking to NIL agents, we're talking to sports agents, we're talking to coaches, we're talking to players, former players, we're talking to mental health professionals, we're talking to anybody that you can think about that's in the huddle with your athlete, whether you are a female or a male or a little kid in high school or a kid in middle school. The landscape of college has changed. The landscape of money making has changed.
Yeah.
You need to be in a huddle. So
And
like, comment, and subscribe.
yeah, and the reason why we bring these people along, as Erica says, because the landscape has changed. We got this thing called the portal. If you don't know what the portal is, we got this thing called NIL deals. If you don't know what that is, you need to be educated. And so we went through this process for the last couple of years, and we said to each other, "My God, there have to be other parents that are trying to figure this thing out. Why don't we bring a platform where we bring professionals, we bring other parents, and we bring pros to kind of help them along this journey." So that's why we're here. That's why we're in the huddle.
Yeah, we're in the huddle. And then here's the thing, when you're in a huddle, what I'm learning is the huddle doesn't only involve basketball, the huddle doesn't only involve football, but the huddle involves track, right?
It does.
Jillian, when I say I'm super excited, when I was a little girl, I used to run track. I never stayed the course, right? I
Yeah.
ran track. I did different things, such as I did I think the 100-yard dash. I did the long jump, right? But
Yeah.
I never followed through. I don't know how that could have looked if I did follow through. But we have a young lady coming today with her and her parents. She followed through. Not only did she follow through, her parents don't have to pay for college. And that's a big win when it
That's
comes down to just being fast.
That's number one. But can we just pause on that? We love the fact that you can get a scholarship for your talent. And so I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to hear her story. I know she is from the D, so that's a blessing.
Yeah.
She lived in Redford. I went to Redford High School, by the way. Anyway, it's now a Myers grocery store. I think it's Myers or something. Anyway, but I'm
Mhm.
excited. She's NCAA First Team All-American. Again, she's a
Woo.
Detroit native who is breaking records and making just some great strides. And so we're excited to hear her story and talk to her parents as well.
We sure are. And just to give a little background on her, I want to go to high school. When I say I was impressed, I was reading her talk about a resume. Like, if you have a resume, this how I would want my resume to look if I was an athlete, especially a girl in a
Yeah,
world where a lot of other sports dominate, right? This young
right.
lady in high school was the Gatorade Player of the Year as a senior in 2022. She was a
Wow.
part. She was a part of the Detroit Athletic Club, which is the Michigan Athlete of the Year. She
Yeah.
secured 2 Michigan high school state titles in the 100-meter dash, right? I
Wow.
mean, and in the 200-meter. Then she did the 4x100, the 4x200 relay. She earned academic all state honors for 3 seasons and all state
Wow.
in all 3 of those years. Now, I'm about to go to her resume for college. I think she's told us she's going into her senior year.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
start at 2023. In the SEC Indoor Women's Freshman Runner of the Year, the 2023-24 NCAA Indoor First Team All-American in the 60-meter, 2023-24 NCAA Indoor First Team All-American 200-meter, 2023 SEC Outdoor Women's Freshman Runner of the Year, 2023-24 NCAA Outdoor First Team All-American 100-meter, 2023 NCAA Outdoor First Team All-American 4x100 meter, 2023 NCAA Outdoor Second Team All-American, which is the 200 meter, and then the 2024 NCAA Outdoor First Team All-American 200 meter, 2024 CSC Academic District, 2024 CSC Second Team Academic All-American, 2025 SEC Indoor 60-meter champion. Okay, 2025 NCAA Indoor First Team All-American 60-meter, 2025 NCAA Indoor First Team All-American 200-meter, and 2025 NCAA Outdoor Second Team All-American 100-meter. Can I take a breath? Wow. And we have Gigi that's here, one of our great supporters. She said, that's great. She giving her the hand clap. Yes. I want you guys to go and talk to your friends and family. Get them on here if you got any comments or questions for Kaila and her family. We're going to welcome Kaila, her mom, and her dad to the stage, Kimberly Jackson, Coach AJ Jackson. And so we're going to welcome all three of them to the stage and thank them for coming. Can we get y'all in the huddle?
We need to say, run to the stage.
Man, Kaila, thank you so much for joining us. Your mom and dad are here. Your dad told me that he was actually at practice. He said, but I'm coming and I'm getting on. Coach AJ, we thank you for being here. Kaila, yes, Miss Jackson, we thank you for being here as well.
Thanks for having us.
All right, Kaila. Now, Jillian, I know me and you, we be trying to bogart these guests when they come because we got so many questions. I'm going to let you start, Jillian.
Yes. So I started off by saying, you're a proud Detroit area native. You live in Georgia. And so I wanted to hear from you. What was your early track? I want to start early. Like, let's go back. You're a senior now. You're a little grown up. But I want us to take us back to when you were small. Perhaps, I don't know the story. If you were training with your dad, tell us what your early track journey was like. And when did you know that sprinting was your gift? Because the one of the things I want to say is it sounds as though goodness and mercy is just following you and you following you chasing them. And so when was your early track journey like? And when did you know, like, oh, I love this. I'm gifted at this.
Yes. So I went to Bates Academy in elementary school. I started track at around age 7. So I was just in gym class, racing all the girls and boys, and I was beating them every time. So one time my teacher was like, can you bring your parents in? And I want to talk to them about something. So my mom came and he told her this team that I should try. And it was, at the time it was called, I think, Detroit PAL. And so I went and I actually hated it. It was so hard. It was so hard. I had not worked out like that ever in my life. So, but my parents were the main ones telling me, you should keep doing it. Like, they saw the potential in me. So I just kept going. And then from there, things just got better and better.
That's awesome. That's a great story. Shout out for teachers who see the gift. Shout out for parents who encourage them to you're not quitting. And shout out for you to say, hey, I'm gonna stay in the run. I'm gonna stay in the race. That's a great story. Thanks so much for that.
Yeah. Well, Kaila, I've seen you run. I remember being at some indoor, I know Samaj and you ran, I think you guys were on Track Life University together. Your dad was coaching Samaj, and I seen you run, and I thought to myself, that young lady is a force to be reckoned with. It seemed like you would start off, and by the time you would get your speed up, it's like your momentum came. Everybody was like in your dust. So I saw you run past and you just had a goal. So the speed, do you count that as being natural speed, or was that something that you really had to work on? Of course, you're naturally fast, apparently. but you had to get better. How did you work on that craft? And working on that craft, do you think it made you faster?
I definitely think it made me faster because even now I still struggle with having good form. So that was
Mhm.
one of the main things that I had to start thinking about if I wanted to take it to that next level.
Wow. So you had to work on something. Was your dad a large part of you working on your speed?
Yeah, it would be times even like after practice or on off days where we would go to the track and just try and get my form together. I would run with those little arm bands that make you have to stay in place.
Aw. Well, I'm going to start with mom next. And then, Jillian, I know you got a question maybe for dad too and mom. But Miss Jackson, when you seen your baby run in her very first race, how did that make you feel? And did you feel like you had a track star on your hands at that time?
Yes, Kayla has been very competitive since she was little. When you asked her about her first race back in the day, or back elementary, she always have a goal. She want to beat everybody. So it was always funny. Even when she got to track for the first time, she was in the little gym trying to just beat everybody she could beat. So she's very competitive, and um, she is a naturalist, and I'm just always so proud of her. Of course, I was excited, and I was thinking, yeah, she's gonna be somebody one day.
Mm,
And she is.
wow.
And she is. And so, Coach, Dad, I have to ask you the question. I love talking to dads who are also coaches. My husband has coached my kids, and sometimes that can be challenging. And so, from you, I don't want to sort of talk about that, but I want to talk from a dad perspective. You are raising an amazing young lady. She gets the scholarship to go away to school. What was that transition like, moving from Michigan, going to the University of Georgia as her coach? Because as a coach, you've poured so much into her, and now you're giving her up to somebody else. Like you're giving her to the university, you're giving her to the coach. What was that like for you?
It wasn't really a difficult transition. You know, I played college sports myself. I played football
Okay.
for the University of Cincinnati, so I kind of had an idea what that transition was going to look like for
Yeah.
Kayla. You know, talking with her coach, Coach Carroll, you know, we decided that Georgia was the place for Kayla after talking with her and having a home visit and the actual visit there. So we just felt comfortable. I think the biggest concern for Kim and I was, you know, with Kayla having diabetes, how would that look being
Mm,
so far away from home from us? And actually, on the day of the visit, when they were going to go onto the football field, ended up dropping low, and she got very fatigued and couldn't really continue. And the whole football staff just told us to step aside. We
Uh-oh.
got it, took care of her, and got her right back and got her out on the field in time so she can take pictures and enjoy that experience. And we kind of knew then that, you know, we were in the right place. So the transition wasn't as that difficult for me. To answer
That's
the
awesome.
question.
No, and that's good. And you also, one of the things that you pointed out, we hear this over and over again, when you have a parent that has experienced being a collegiate athlete or a student athlete, right? They're not as uptight. They're not as constrictive to say, you know, I poured into my child, now I'm handing over. You have that relationship with the coach, and so that's good insight. And parents who are listening, sometimes if we're not coaches, but sometimes we have a challenge with that these are our babies.
yes.
Have to, Eric and I talk about this all the time. We have to allow them to grow and to blossom, and we see that's exactly what Kayla was able to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I heard, Coach, you said something about Kayla having diabetes. Kayla, speak to that. When were you diagnosed with diabetes? How did it affect you with running? And did you think you can continue on with that journey? I know that's like three questions in one, but that diagnosis, when did you get it? How really did it affect you in running? And did you think you can continue running?
So I first was diagnosed with diabetes towards the end of my eighth grade year, and it was hard at first. I wasn't really sure why it happened to me, and I was really sad. So the first, I had these symptoms, frequent urination, and then I would like chug a water right after. So I just thought I was like hydrated. So I was happy. But then my parents started like realizing this isn't normal. And then I would get to the track meets. I could barely do a warm up lap. So we scheduled a doctor's appointment, and then they told me that I had diabetes and that my numbers were like over 500. And if I had came in any later, something bad could have happened. So I really thought I couldn't run track anymore. And everyone was like trying to tell me that with the medicine, like I would be even better than I was. And I just didn't believe it. So I had took some
Wow.
time off, and my dad one day he was just like, let's just go to the track and try and run and just do as much as you can. So we did that, and I ended up being completely fine. And then being able to practice made me like miss the sport. So I wanted to start it back. And since then, I just was proving everybody wrong because a lot of people
Mm.
doubted me after that.
So you probably felt that gave you drive, like somebody or even yourself feeling like, oh, I can't run track. That gave you the drive to be who you are today. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Like, what are some of the things you do in order to prepare, being that you do have diabetes? Like, are you taking insulin? Like, what do you do to prepare, and what do you have to take before your races?
So I have a insulin pump that like distributes medicine all throughout the day, and every time I eat, I have to enter in the carb amount so that the machine can give me the medicine. But sometimes it can be really hard because anything can like affect it and make my numbers drop low or go high, like sickness, it's too hot outside, I'm stressed, anything can affect it. So sometimes I find myself going low at track meets, and I remember one time last year at my regional meet, this was the meet that determined if you would go to nationals or not. And I was doing the 200, and I was on the line, and I started feeling sick.
Hmm.
My numbers dropped, my device beeps. So I was literally on the line, my device was beeping, and I was just like, I gotta push through this. Like, I know I can. I've done this before. And so after I finished, I made it to nationals, and then I finally had got to my phone, and my numbers were at 60. And a normal
Hmm.
meet is like 150 to 180. So yeah, that was really hard, but it does take a lot of strength to be able to navigate this world with
Yeah.
diabetes.
No, that's great.
Wow.
So this
Wow.
is actually for Kim or Coach. You know, as we raise just children in general, right? We see some of our characteristics in them, right? And so what I'm hearing is you have raised a very strong-willed, determined young lady. Uh, I won't ask who will go first, but is that coming from Kim? Is that coming from Coach? Where does she get that drive from?
I can answer that. I think I can tell you for certain that that comes from Kim.
Mm.
She's very strong. She completes tasks. She never leaves anything undone. She overdoes things at times, and I think that characteristic has got into Kayla's genes as well. So I'm gonna have to give 100% credit to my wife Kim.
I love it.
Wow.
Aw,
I love that.
that's
You got
beautiful, Coach.
brownie points, Coach, when you come
I'm
home.
Right.
surprised he didn't take the credit.
Kayla.
Right.
I'm surprised he didn't take the credit.
Right, because you know how dads be all like, yeah, she get it from me, right?
Right,
But no,
right.
we know where it comes from. It's crazy how she looks just like her mom, but she also favors her dad. And then you have a sister too. Tell us about your sister, Kayla. Like, are you the baby? Is she the oldest or the youngest? How do you guys fall in line with one another?
Yes, I'm the youngest. We're 5 years apart. So she just always supports me. And over the years, we've grown really close. And I'm just so happy that she's able to like come to all my needs. She literally posts
Aw.
TikToks and posts about me every day. So
That's huge to have that big success, because sometime we're actually going to have a show coming up. It's called the Golden Child, right? It's the Golden Child syndrome. You may have one kid that does the sport and the other kid that don't. And how do the other kids feel that's in the family? Mom, how do you feel you made even your daughter that's not the track star? I don't know if she does participate in a sport, she may do, but how do you make her feel just as important as it relates to her life and the things she has going on versus just focusing on Kayla? Because we both know that your kids can take all the time of your life, their life, and their tournament life and traveling. So how, Mom, did you make sure that your other daughter felt just as important and just as whatever she's doing is just as important as Kayla's events are?
Well, early on, Taylor, her oldest sister, is 26 now. And so she's kind of had her time. She played volleyball.
Okay.
So we were AAU parents with volleyball and AAU with track. So Taylor played volleyball in college. She went to Winston-Salem State University.
Okay.
So in the earlier years, there was times where we had to split up. He did the track, or I went to the volleyball travel. So we were like all over the place. So she played in college. We used to go, and Kaila, we all go to her volleyball tournaments and everything. And so she got a little bit of that, limelight with the
That's good.
volleyball. So yeah. So she knows how it feels to be an athlete, student athlete on scholarship and everything. And so she kind of chose the route that she was done after college. She got caught up in the COVID years. She was just ready to be done with it. So she's okay with it. She really enjoys the balance. Now that she's older, it's kind of, we're a lot closer. We all support Kayla, and she's good with it. So she's never had, she's had her time, and she's okay with the time she had.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, Kate, I just want to shift a little bit about your career high. We heard all your accolades when we were doing the introduction, but you've earned some multiple NCAA American titles. That's huge accomplishments. But what would you say is your proudest moment on the track so far?
I would have to say winning the national championship with my team, because it's been times where a lot of people have doubted us. And even when we won, a lot of us didn't score or contribute to the win. So even with people dropping out that people expected to do good, we still overcame and won. So that's something I'm really proud of.
Wow. And that's good to hear from, because I don't know anything about track. I'm just being honest. My husband is assistant athletic director. He asked me this summer to help with track, and that's how I learned how to track. And it is an amazing sport.
Yes.
And so oftentimes, when I think about someone who runs, you think about individual accomplishments. And so it's so good to hear that you attributed your success and one of your proudest moments to your team effort. That says a lot about you as a person. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I'm going to come back to you. When it comes down to Kayla, and I know you had a lot with helping develop her as a track star. Thank you for helping develop our son too, Samaj. But, we wish we could have got him to you earlier, not in high school, right? But do you think that do you still have a hand in her development now? And if so, does that development, do you see her going? I see it in Jesus' name, to the Olympics.
Yeah. We always have conversations about track and field, and we'll talk about some of her meets. But I'm just kind of at this point really enjoying being a father and just sitting in the stands and just watching. Because I feel confident about where she's at, and that Coach Carroll is going to get her to where she needs to be. But I think some years back, and Kaila had, she may not remember this or not, but it was a point where she wanted to quit track and field, and
Mm.
she was at the top. I want to say maybe around the age of 12, and
Wow.
it wasn't from the sport. I think it was because all we did was talk about track on the way to practice, at
Mm.
practice, on the way back home, for lunch, breakfast, dinner,
Mm.
and I realized it was time at that point. It was really time for me to step back.
Wow.
And so luckily I coached with some other great coaches at the time that were able to step in, give Kaila the time that she needed, which allowed me to focus really on other athletes that needed to be developed.
Mm.
And when we got to high school, she kind of came back and said, "Hey, I need you back now." um,
Wow.
so I think, stepping away and just being a parent, not being track 24 hours a day, allow her to fall back in love with the sport. And I would say that's something parents that are really involved, especially from a coaching perspective of your own child, to really find that
Yeah.
balance, because it can make or break the household. Um,
Mm.
so, but yeah, so I at this point, what can I tell Coach Carroll, who's won 3 national titles, who's the coach of the year, who's the USA Olympic coach? I can't tell her. I can't say anything to
Right.
Kaila that's gonna outdo that. So I'm just enjoying the ride.
And we
Wow.
are we are there for her mentally, you
Yeah.
Yeah,
know,
Mm.
um,
that part.
pep
Yeah.
pep talks or mentally sometimes, to support her from that angle.
Wow, that's funny you bring that up, Kim, because we're going to have another mental health specialist that come on. We did have one come on, Dr. Sabrina Jackson, a couple weeks ago, and she talked about the mental uh, things that athletes go through. And I think we just see the race, we see the medal, we see her run, and she wins, right? But we don't see what it takes for her to get there through the journey of her mind, right? And so that's something that you bring that up. So, Kaila, I mean, this is when we do Moms in a Huddle, this is a safe space. How does running track and even life outside of track, because you're not just a track star, you have a life. You're Kaila Jackson. How does
Yeah.
your life and track merge together? And how do you keep a sane mind or a sound mind? Because everybody is loving you at Georgia, I'm sure. People know who you are. So how do you help? How do you keep a sane mind? Where is your mental space at times? And be honest.
So honestly, it does get hard, and like, but I know like in the future I want to keep running, so that's what I really think about. But here we have like the sports therapist and everything that we can speak to, and that helps a lot. But it does get hard because you're waking up, you're going to practice, you're doing the same thing,
Yeah.
especially when you're not doing competitions. Like right now I'm training for the world team trials that's at the end of July,
Wow.
but I don't do anything else. I just go to practice every day, and it gets repetitive, but I have to just remember like the end goal, and
Yeah.
that's what like keeps me going.
What is your end goal, Kaila?
To make the team, and my overall goal when I finish school, I want to turn pro. So
Wow. Ooh,
that's that's
that is
good.
so beautiful, man. I look at the young ladies that's out like a Shakari Richardson or the Gail Devers during my days that I remember growing up. Do you look up to those? I'm sorry, Jillian. You know I'm
Good.
just taking over
Girl,
questions.
we
Who do
flowing.
you who do you most look up to that you can say, not to say that you're like, because you are unique in yourself, but who do you think that your run style, your track style, your who you are is similar to in what we may know of today or in the past?
I would say probably Allison Felix, because even
Mm,
though she's had like a bunch of challenges and obstacles, she still proved everyone wrong and still went and won things even after she had a child and lost her Nike contract. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's someone I would compare myself to.
wow. I do remember that. When she had a baby, they said she couldn't run. She's not in that vibe anymore, but she came and did prove them wrong.
Yeah, and she started her own clothing line.
Did she?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. After Nike said no, she said, okay, I'll take my own yes. And so, Kaila, that brings me to my question. So you talked about other things you want to do outside. I mean, not outside, within sports, within track and field. What else do you, we read the bio, all focused on what you're doing at school. What else makes you happy? What else makes you smile? What friends do you surround yourself with? Are there any other extracurricular activities that you do outside of being on a field and running around a court?
Yes, so I'm in a sorority. I'm a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And so my goal was to meet new people and develop friendships and sisterhoods. And because when you're in sports, it's really hard to be connected to that outside world outside of sports.
Yeah.
And so joining that just gave me like all the support that I wanted at school outside of track. And they're like so supportive and they show up for me and I get to see them all the time. So that was what I needed because like sometimes you need to meet new people. And I would track people every single day. So I'm happy that I did that.
That's awesome. So you liking this little pink we got on over here, right? That it's not pink, but I think it's close to your color.
Yeah, the pink and green, is it? Okay. And so you said you joined the Alpha Kappa Alpha, correct?
Yeah.
Which I'm sure your dad and my husband are connected somehow with the great what? What is it, Coach AJ?
Kappa Alpha Psi. Till the day I die.
Okay. And Mom, are you a part of sorority as well?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, now we know.
She's my legacy and my other daughter.
Wow. That's wonderful. Well, hello. We should have known that. That's amazing.
Yeah, you had no other choice but to go the AKA, right?
Yeah.
The devil. No, y'all not the devil. Y'all are the beautiful pearl girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the Kaila M. Jackson Speed Foundation, which is a nonprofit 501c3 tax exempt, right? Miss Jackson, can you give us some information about what your role is? And that, Coach, we're going to come over to you as well. Can you give us some information about what the foundation is about and what does it aim to do?
Well, basically, it's a track team, but made into a foundation, a focus on the community and exercise and diabetes, modeled after Kaila. So they're on the east side of Detroit now. And basically, my husband, Anthony, runs the track program, but the foundation, the background, the backbone of it is to make people more aware of diabetes. It's a lot of children and youth that grows up. Some of them don't know they have it. And that's the stance that we took because we didn't know Kaila had it. And just to get more out there awareness and the signs and using track as one of the avenues to, spread the word and to basically get parents involved to know the signs of it.
Wow, that's beautiful. And I like that because a lot of times people think that athletes don't have any challenges. And when you can have a health challenge and still rise above it and be a track star the way that Kaila is, and I don't know if I could run that fast. I mean, I wish Kaila, I would love for you to train me if you could train me to run. I want to lose some weight. But what I'm saying is diabetes is very serious, right? And so for you to engage a track club and Coach AJ, for you guys to be running this on the east side of Detroit. I'm from the east. Both me and Jillian is from the east side, okay?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are, Jillian. I thought you claimed the east.
No, I'm from the west side, baby.
Oh, she's from the west. She just told me she's from the D. That's what it was.
That's right.
But I'm from the east side. Mac and Bewick was a street over from Herbert and Gratiot, okay?
East.
I know I don't look like I'm from the East, but I was over there by Mac and Bewick. So, Coach, tell us about where you're at, what you're doing for that community over there.
Oh yeah. So we're at we practice at King High School. Um and we pretty much picked this area because there's no track and field club in this area.
Yeah.
We're literally walking distance from the King Homes and the Ralph Bunch. And that
Oh,
was another reason to come here, because it's going to give the kids in this area the opportunity to learn more about track and field, to stay healthy, and to also have the possibilities to travel outside of this area and even outside of the state.
Yeah.
Um, and meet people from across the country. So we're in our second full season here. Um, we are taking 14 athletes to Junior Olympics coming up in August, or the end of this
wow.
month, to Houston, Texas. And 8 of those athletes are from the area and that's qualified to go. This will be their very first time to be able to go on a big track and field event like that, which they'll
Wow.
run in front of about 20,000 people. So it should be a really great
Wow.
experience.
Oh,
Wow.
that is amazing.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Kayla, do you get it? Do you get a chance to travel with them?
Not since I'm away from school, but when I do come home, I try to make it a priority to come to their practice and speak with them and just have a good time.
Yeah, it's always good for the kids to see an example. People just need to see that it can be done. And so it's
Yeah.
my son had a camp, and I texted him and I said, I want you to remember that you were once that little kid waiting to see somebody come. So if we keep that mindset, and I love the fact that you guys started a foundation to be able to pour into areas and communities that may not have that opportunity. And so to hear that you're taking students from the east side of Detroit to be able to play and show their talent in front of 22,000 people, that's an amazing accomplishment. And it can change many, many lives because of it. So thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to know, can speed be learned? Say you have and this is for you, Coach. Say you have a student that comes to your program and they're not fast, but they desire to be fast. How do you teach speed? And can it be taught?
It can be taught, but it's like football, right? Everyone cannot be the quarterback. Everyone can't be the wide receiver. Somebody's gonna have to be the offensive lineman, right? The defensive
Right.
lineman. And track is very similar. All areas of track and field requires a certain level of speed. But you might be better off as a mid distance athlete, right?
Okay.
You may be better as a hurdler.
Yeah.
But within all of those different events, you still need to focus on speed and being as fast as you can be in that particular event. So I hope I answered that. Everybody can't be the 100 meter to 200 meter sprinter. You know, you
Okay.
may be better off as a 400-meter hurdler or 800-meter
Mm.
runner.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's true. Because, like I say, I ran track. Me and my sister did. I just don't know where I would have been had I continued. I think I just was tired of to be honest with you, being on the east side of Detroit at Lemke Park off 7 Mile and out of Drive. It was too hot to be working out in the summer. I think that hurt me. It was the outside elements that said, you know what, this is for the birds. I don't want to be out here all day sweat coming down my back. But I consider it as one of those things that would have been something. So to have that stick to itness, Kayla, in that element, everything going indoors. You have to run outdoors sometime, right?
Yes.
I know that's irritating when you sweating, isn't it? And then you got y'all like this generation of track stars. Y'all come out there with your nails done, your hair done. When y'all come out there glammed up, right? And y'all running down that and then it's just like y'all look beautiful when y'all run. I don't know. I just couldn't do it. That's what deterred me. But Kayla, going back to you. What is your major? Let's learn a little bit about what is your major at the University of Georgia and how has your stay at the University of Georgia been with you getting acclimated with academics?
Yes, so I'm a communications and journalism major. My goal is to do sports broadcasting in the future.
Mhm.
And so my school doesn't have a specific major for that. So I do a certificate and it's called the sports media certificate. And I just get to, they teach us all kinds of things. I make flyers, I cover all the sports at Georgia. And then this next
Mm.
year, I'll be covering high school football games. So it's really setting me up to like have a good future, especially since I'm already in sports. So I'll have those connections. But yes, I'll be graduating in December. And then after that, I plan on starting my master's program.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
wow. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're looking at the next ESPN anchor woman. That's what
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Anything is possible. And so my question is, this is your senior year. You are a member of AKA Sorority Incorporated. I want to make sure I say that correctly. uh, you are, doing so many things. How do you balance school, running? Obviously, you have a relationship with your parents. You said your sister's posting. She's your social media guru. How do you balance all of that? And again, I asked that question because people have a tendency to forget that they are student athletes.
Yes.
And so, how do you balance that?
Well, from it really started in high school. I went to Renaissance High School. So, and I was doing a lot then with track, school, all these other clubs. So that really set me up. And my mom, like, she doesn't play about school. So
She like, no. Mm-mm.
And it go all the way back from Bates, her foundation.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
mama wasn't playing with you, Kayla. She like, you better get in there, get your work done, right? Miss
yeah.
Jackson, you wasn't playing, huh?
No, I wasn't
No.
playing.
And it followed through to college too. So it's not I can go away, party, still run track, not get good grades, and then think I'm about to satisfy what my mom's demands are. And it should be your demands too. But mama wasn't playing that. Just because you go away to another state don't mean that your grades go down, right?
Yeah. And I
Okay.
would say, like, I feel like I balance my life really good. You have to remember that, like, you're still a person at the end of the day, and it's okay to go have fun. It's just know the limits and what
Mm.
you're here to do. So I still have my life and my fun, but track is the main focus and school as well. So
That's
Yeah. So
awesome.
we ask the boys these questions.
Mhm.
Our sons. Yeah, I know where I'm going. So you talk about you like to have fun. You are a beautiful young lady.
Yes.
So, again, we tell I know I tell my sons, let's stay focused. The girls are going to come. How do you stay focused? You are a beautiful young lady. You run it. I know the brothers are like,
Absolutely. I know they after you.
are you dating or are you just staying focused? And Dad, you can listen.
no, I'm not dating.
Okay.
It sounds like she's doing her, which is I wish young ladies would get that tidbit. Do you? Because
Yeah.
it's great to be one thing to do what you're doing for yourself, but you can have a life outside of making someone else your life. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes people get caught up in that. Young girls do,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is an awesome thing that you're
And
doing.
I just want to say, and that's actually very attractive when people see that you're focused on you doing you and you're not busybody trying to figure. That is actually a very, very attractive characteristic to have. So great job.
One thing early on that I did emphasize for Kaila is to advocate for yourself with your teachers, your grades. Kaila, I can appreciate she have a fit. She's probably just now in college settling with a B.
Oh,
And she one of those type of students. So she
I
doesn't
love
play
that.
about her grades. I don't know. I don't think she's gotten a C.
Only
Girl,
one ever in Spanish, and then
That was in high school, right?
yes.
So
wow.
she real serious, and she will email a teacher in a minute. She'll have a meeting with a teacher. She'll go to their meeting times, and I always push her. I tell her, Kaila, don't settle. Go to the office hours. Just if they see that you putting up an effort, that might be between a minus and a plus,
That's
A
right.
minus, or B plus. And, that has worked over the years with both of my kids. Like, advocate for yourself.
Wow. That's so beautiful. Brains and beauty and talent. You said you're going to a master's program. What is this master's program you're interested in?
So I'm still deciding. I just started looking into it, but it would probably be something to do with communications or journalism.
Gotcha. So what other sport other than track do you like? What are you interested in? What have you studied to say, if I had to report on this, I can do it from the hip?
I love that.
So football, soccer, volleyball, and men's and women's basketball is what I got to
Mm,
this past school year. So I have a lot of knowledge on that.
wow. That's awesome. Georgia is a big powerhouse.
Yes, it
You
is.
know, we know they
Yeah.
are a big powerhouse because I think Michigan lost against Georgia several years back at one of the games. Georgia is one of those schools that is well respected for their football program, definitely their track and field, but the football program is definitely a powerhouse to be reckoned with. So that's good that you're able to know what you like. You have the face to go out there and do it. Most young ladies that you see doing journalism, they look, like you, like
Yeah.
gorgeous young ladies, beautiful, know how to present themselves, and they get out there and they are a force to be reckoned with. So I'm proud of you for making that decision. Go out there and kill the game, because we do need a lot of our young brown little girls out there representing the sports, because I'm sure you know what you're talking about,
Yes. Yes.
you know?
Yeah, her internship is really helping her because
Oh
she's,
yeah.
yeah,
I'm interning with our sports communications offices, and I'm actually trying to get to go to the SEC Media Day next Tuesday. So
Wow.
so hopefully I can work there for the day.
But you know what? Your gift will make room for you and bring you before great people. So what's
Yeah.
going to happen is you are a track star. You're going to go. People are going to know just by your name, of having a great name, of just that, and your hard work and dedication. The doors are going to open up at your name, but then also at what you offer people when you come in there. So showing up there to SEC, that's huge.
Yeah,
College
that is.
sports is
That,
big, isn't it, Jillian? College sports is not like the pros is great, but college sports is where the money maker is. You know what I'm saying?
yes, it is. Yes, it is. So I'm just a little selfish here. I believe in arranged marriages. I have some wonderful, two amazing
Be
young
like, I
men,
got 3
and then
babies.
I have a little nephew that's at Morehouse. I'm just listening.
Ooh.
Just wait a minute. Wait, one of them is right now with he's doing an internship with the NBA. That's a connection right there. We'll
Jillian.
talk to the parents first.
I'm gonna share their number with you for Kayla. Kayla told you she's so.
Listen, I believe in arranged marriage. I've been praying for my
Yes.
daughter-in-law since they were in my womb. And if not them, I've been praying for the other little boys that I caught. So we'll talk later. We can give them a call first. And they all handsome. They all handsome. So.
They are.
And they all love the Lord. So that's all I'm
awesome.
saying.
See, Jillian, you just had to put that public announcement up in there. You know what?
We done read her resume.
Let me tell you.
Listen, first of all, she got good parents.
Yes. Come from good stock, as they say. Come from good stock. And it's not too much that you see young ladies that's at that caliber. Look what we see in the world. Kayla is really a diamond. You know what I'm saying? Not in the rough. She's a diamond. She's beyond the rough. She is a diamond. So that is awesome, Kayla. You all trying to get hooked up on Moms in the Huddle, Kayla.
We're gonna have a side podcast.
Yeah, we talk about we are one of those podcasts, as you guys, hopefully you'll subscribe, like, and comment and share a lot of our podcasts, because we want to be real. We're going to bring on what it is when you're an athlete, what type of girl or what type of young man you should have in your life. and they should be an asset and not a debt to you. So we're going to be talking about those real things when it comes to being an athlete, because who you share your life with will determine how far you can get in life. So when it comes to mom and daddies, we typically know what's going on in relationships even before our baby be like, baby, that baby ain't no good for you, or that baby is real good for you.
Yeah.
That's a good baby, right? That's what my mama told me. She would tell me, no, that he not right for you. And you be so mad, but I love him. That man is not right, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm
thank God for
sorry.
mom.
I made a right turn. We're gonna come back on track.
Yeah, that's what we do. We just talking, but Kimberly, we thank you. Give us a little bit about what you do, Kimberly, and then Coach AJ, because you're more than just the track star mom and dad. You guys have a life, and that's another thing. We have a life outside of our kids, right?
We do.
So, Kimberly, we're going to start with you first. What do you do? What is your life beyond track?
Well, educationally, I am a licensed counselor, but I am a stay-at-home mom. We decided to put more of our emphasis in our family business, and we have a vocational training school, which my husband runs most of that, and we do an enormous amount of traveling. Early on, we decided for me to, my oldest daughter has hearing impairment. She has a cochlear implant on both sides. And then Kaila has the diabetes. And so when they were younger, we wanted me to be able to spend more time. I mean, I worked as long as I was employed with Detroit Public Schools, a licensed a counselor. And so over the years, I ended up, when she started school, spending more time with her at base. Back in the day, it was so demanding. And so with them being both in sports, we were like traveling like every other week out of state and all of that. So we would make more money for me to be home and to be with the kids, and for us to make our business grow more. I started off, working with the business, but I feel like I'm a momager, always planning and booking and flights and hotels. And so it seemed like ever since they've been young, and still now, we're like gone every other week.
Wow.
So we knew that if I went back to a 9 to 5, I wouldn't be able to, grow up and spend the life with them like we wanted them to. So, yeah.
That's so important. You can't get that time back.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Coach, what do you do?
So I'm CEO and founder of Emerging Industries Training Institute, which is a vocational training school also on the east side of Detroit. We're located in the Samaritan Center, where we occupy about 8,000 square feet of training space there. And we train in the construction trades. And so once you successfully complete our classes and we're employer led, you go to work. You work in the industry. And our students are making really good money out here.
That is awesome, Coach. Man. And you've been doing that for how many years?
I started in workforce development back in 2000, but as far as the training school, we got licensed in 2011 of January.
Now, how important is that to just have your beautiful wife aside of you, helping you in your dreams, and you're helping her and she's helping her girls in their dreams? And I'm going to be honest, as a mom, we just want to see our family win. That's what I heard with what you just said, Miss Jackson. Like, pretty much, I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I want to see my family win, because I think that we look at if they're winning, we're winning, right?
Absolutely. 100%.
So that is awesome.
That's
great.
Well, y'all, we can keep y'all here all day, because we used to say our shows are going to be 30 minutes, right? We're at 54 minutes, 41 seconds now. We used to always say, oh, we're going to do a 30-minute show, but we talk too much. We can't do a 30-minute show.
No, we just have some amazing people come on our show, and we try to pull out all the information to share. I mean, I want to send a shout out to this company, and we might have to do a little commercial, get some of these young men who need to pivot. Perhaps they didn't, make it, but they could certainly do something different. My middle child cried when I told him he had to have a plan B. Told not believing me, but you have to have a plan B. And so I love what you're doing, Coach. And so we certainly want to get that information out to our audience.
Thank you.
Yes. We want to thank you, Kaila. We want to thank you and your parents for coming, being a part of Moms in the Huddle, because we know in the huddle, no athlete, no parent stands alone. So we want to thank you guys for being here. Are there any last things you want the audience to know about you, or just give a gem, like a one-word thing of what you think that your journey has been? Kaila?
Yeah, I could just say for everyone to just be patient and trust in yourself so that you can have that outcome that you want. Don't try to rush anything and just have fun while you're doing it.
I love that.
That's great.
Miss Kimberly?
Yes, we do try to instill in Kaila. I know that everything is so competitive, but just try to have fun as a parent. Just be supportive. Try not to push them too much. Try not to all your conversation, your whole life is all around the sport.
Yeah.
Try to stay and come back to reality with them, and just the everyday things, and not that be the only focus. So, yeah.
I think we can get sidetracked as parents. When you got athletes like Kaila and like your other daughter probably were, and they're doing so well, that tends to be the talk of the table when you're standing there eating, or because you just want to be, okay, what we do next, because you're only as good as your last event, most people.
Yeah. Sometimes you find yourself, so how was practice?
Right.
Everything always about the sport. So, and it's an ongoing thing that you have to always remind yourself, what else you do today,
And I'm guilty, Kimberly. It's funny you say that. I know we're trying to get y'all off too, but I'm guilty of that too. I think I'll ask my son, so how was practice? Okay. So how does your body feel today? Okay, what happened with football? How you feel about the season? And he like, Ma, sometimes it's just like, well, how are you doing today, son? How's your mind? How's your, other things? You want to go to Sam's Club to go shopping? Oh yeah, I'd love to do that. Other things than sports. You're right. We need to get ourselves in check sometime. That's good advice, Kimberly.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Coach AJ, last word?
Yeah. Well, my last word would just say, have a plan B. Definitely have a plan B. Being a former athlete and hanging up my cleats for the last time, that was a very depressing time in my life.
Wow.
And because it was always NFL. And then when I had to make the decision that that's not in the cards, it's time to hang the cleats up. It was tough, and I see a lot of young athletes today that are making that transition, and that's a dangerous period, because you don't know what your next move is, because it's always been football, right? And so just having a plan B, getting that degree is paramount. You never know. Every athlete is an injury away from never playing the sport again. You don't know if that's going to happen. So making sure that you get that degree, or making sure that even if you're done after high school, get into some type of trade program. Because the trades are paying equivalent to league minimum in some cases.
Wow.
So, as a football player, we always think about the fancy cars, the jewelry, all these different things that just comes with the sport. And you can have a really good lifestyle if you have that plan B.
Wow.
So I just want to just reiterate that to everybody.
Go ahead, Erica.
I said, Coach, we got to bring you back, because we have to hear about that. People have to hear about that journey that you just said, about the moment you went through when the last clock stopped, when the last practice stopped, when whatever that was. People want to hear about that. And there is life after sport.
They need to hear about it. I have, like I said, I have 3 sons. My son, 9th grade, had an injury, didn't play. Sophomore year, played in his junior. He just pulled summer basketball, pulled his ACL. He had surgery today, and so under anesthesia, cry like a baby.
Mhm.
Baby. And so, but we're talking about this play but that's all they know is sports in this family. You're gonna play some sports, whether it's football or basketball. So anyway, they need to be encouraged to know that there's life after sports.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even if you like sports, you can do something behind the camera, on the field.
Yeah.
There's so many things you can do to fulfill your dream.
Stay
Absolutely.
connected. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank the Jackson family. Kaila, we wish you the best. We wish you Godspeed, as they say, and you do well this year and be healed.
We'll be watching.
Yes.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Mr. and Miss Jackson. Have a great one.
Thank you.
You
Thanks for
too.
having us.
You're
Bye.
welcome. You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Great.
Wow.
What a great family.
Jillian, so therapeutic, man. This is such a great, oh my gosh. Everyone we bring on this show, it's just to bring the human aspect behind the sport, right?
Behind the name, because you can see
Yes.
we pulled her up. We looked at all her accolades, but we got to meet Kaila. We got to meet the young lady. We got to meet, the little girl as she was traveling and dealing with, growing and dealing with diabetes and making a decision that this thing that I have is not going to stop me. And so I love it. Yes.
Yeah, I love that too. She came back, and what she's doing and the resume she has built just on the simple fact of finding out I had diabetes in 8th grade. Now I'm going beyond the diagnosis, right?
Yeah. I love that.
Beyond the diagnosis. And this is what I've become. And she has yet to touch the pinnacle, because I believe that young lady, we're going to see her in the Olympics. I really believe so. So
I believe so too. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jillian, we about to make it to the legal tip. And Jillian, with the legal tip this week, I kind of went back and forth with what I was going to talk about today, right?
Okay. Yep.
I didn't know if I wanted, because some news dropped about a young man that I personally know with a lawsuit, a sexual assault lawsuit from when he was back in college. It didn't come when he was in college, but when he went to the NFL, it comes.
Oh, we were just
filed this week. So it's breaking news. And I know him, but then I thought about what's happening with the thing. I almost want to just educate our boys, and not just that, on just understanding lawsuits can be filed at any time against you. Right?
goodness.
So you got a situation where, and this is the legal tip. And the reason that this is the legal tip is because I really think about why it matters for athletes. Legally, when you're going out here and you're playing basketball or football and you sign your contract, right? What happens? Civil lawsuits can come out the woodworks, right? I don't know what happened. I'm not professing to know what happened. But what I will say is, the moment you sign your contract, a civil lawsuit happens. And so civil lawsuit cases can lead to suspensions, loss of endorsement, and irreparable damage, right?
Yes.
So we deal with different situations where your eligibility and compliance, lawsuits challenging NCAA rules as well, could redefine athletes' right around eligibilities, injuries, and marketplace values, right? So, and you know what? They would want to bark when I'm doing the legal moment, right?
We hear you.
So what I want to talk to, some of the key takeaways is, whenever you have situations that come out the woodworks, always have legal counsel, secure experienced representation for potential lawsuits. Because when you start making money, a lot of people can't come out the woodworks. And it's not just about the money, because you wonder about people's motives or hearts. Sometimes it's not that I was really harmed. It's just, now I know you're making money, and this could be my time to cash in. And I don't think people realize that. And I am not someone that will downplay if a woman has been sexually assaulted or SA'd or whatever. But what I will say is, look at the totality of the circumstances, because it could be a money grab.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. And then look at the public conduct and branding, being aware of personal conduct policies and image implications. See, some teams may not want that to be imaged with them, even though you didn't do nothing.
Yes, absolutely.
So the image that you're giving your team, your family, and it could be you didn't do nothing, right? And so the biggest thing is staying informed and being proactive in managing legal exposure is essential in today's era for heightened athlete scrutiny. So what I mean is make sure you have good legal representation to be able to represent you. And if you have to fight a case, you fight it. If you don't have to fight a case and you have legal counsel, there are moments where things may go away. But what I will say is this. There are statutory periods, some 5 years, 10 years, depending on your state, that someone can bring a lawsuit against you if you did it back when you were in college or even high school.
Wow.
And that's what the scary part is. I looked up that one thing in the state of Texas, and it says that victim, it was either up until the age of 28, that person could file a lawsuit, or up until 10 years from the event, whichever deadline is longest. So this young man goes into the NFL, and I'm not going to mention his name because I personally know him and his family. He comes from a very good family, sound family. His parents are amazing. We know who they are. But what I will say is this. In the era that we are in, we need to make sure our boys are educated on who they're dealing with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That reminds me. So my Jonathan came home this weekend. One of his friends was throwing a 4th of July party. And so I texted him this. I said, don't accept any open drink from anybody. Don't go in any private room with any young lady by yourself or even a group of people. Only drink stuff that already has a tight seal cap on it. I know you know these things, but I'm just reminding you.
Remind them. We know what we put in our children when they go out there. Yeah.
If they don't have no seal, first of all, don't be drinking. But
don't drink.
But if it don't have no seal, don't take no water, don't take nothing, don't go in no room, don't do it.
Don't do it. And know the statutory. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's for the ladies too. Again, we personally have boys. We don't have any girls, but young ladies, don't take an open drink. Don't take a drink from somebody. If somebody says, I want to buy you a drink, no, thank you. I can take care of myself.
I got it myself.
You don't know what people are putting in those drinks. So
yeah,
thank you so much for that legal lens.
Yeah, that's the legal tip with Erica, and make sure you are legally informed.
I love that. So now it's time for Moms in the Huddle marketing moment, because talent opens doors, but proper marketing keeps them open. Mine is real simple. Get in front of the camera. Athletes, if you want to build a brand that goes beyond the box score, you have to get comfortable in front of the camera. What do I mean by that? Whether it's a reel that you're doing, if you do a Q&A, if you do a post-game recap, if you're preparing for an interview, because somebody's going to put the mic in front of your face.
Yes.
If you prepare for the interview, the ability to speak clearly and confidently makes a lasting impression. So why does that matter?
That's right.
So we talked to Kaila, right? So she's got both. She got the beauty, she got the brains, she got the personality, she got the stats, right? So stats show what you can do, but your voice shows who you are.
Yeah.
And so in this era of NIL, that matters. So if it's coaches or recruiters or brand reps, they're watching your personality as much as they're watching your performance. And
that is so true.
Yes, they're saying, like, who is this person? Who's this guy? Who's this girl? And they get to know who you are through what you're saying out of your mouth and how you are articulating who you are. And so the best way to articulate who you are is you have to practice. Yes. Great on the camera doesn't come naturally. Like we're Moms in the Huddle. We've been doing this for a minute. We're a little bit older than y'all, but practice. And so here's some tips for practice. Record yourself and play it back. I was talking to Erica the other day. She said, do you listen to Moms in the Huddle? Sometimes I don't listen because I don't like hearing my voice sometimes, but you got to record yourself and play it back. to hear, what did I say? I say a lot. Or I said, whatever that is, correct it. So you want to practice. Watch how you speak. Are you clear? And are you confident? I have a tendency to speak really fast. And so
me too. Really bad with that.
Slow down, breathe. Work on articulating your words. Slow down your pace and let your energy come through. And one of the things I love that we don't often do, and I catch myself doing, is smile. Be warm.
Yeah.
Be who you are. People love a beautiful smile. Your parents who have invested in making sure you brush your teeth and put your braces on, beautiful smile that they pay.
Right.
And then lastly, so they see you, you're speaking really well, you're articulating, you're slowing down, you're breathing, and you're smiling.
Yeah.
The last thing that you need to have is a tagline. What's your signature sign off? Make it short and memorable. And the reason why you want it to be short and memorable, because it reinforces your identity and it makes people think of your personality. So I'm going to just give you a few examples. So you can say, stay fast, stay focused. This is Jillian Blackwell signing off. Keep grinding, keep shining. Y'all at the finish line.
Yeah.
That's it. Power, pace, and purpose. So if I was Kaila Jackson and I was posted, I would say, hey, y'all, I just wrapped up the 200 meter at the SEC meet. Here are 3 things I learned. Trust your training. Don't panic at the curve. Hydration is a no. It's no joke. More to come as I prep for nationals. Stay tuned. I'm locked in, laced up, and leaving it all on the track. What she said?
I like that.
I'm Kaila Jackson, locked in, laced up, and leaving it on the track. So it's why do you have to be relatable, it's shareable, and guess what? It's memorable. So that's our tip for the day. Get in front of the camera and practice.
Wow.
Practice makes perfect. All right.
And that is so true, Jillian. Practice really does make perfect. People don't always think that. So we've come to the last part, Jillian. Moms in the huddle, where they at?
In a huddle.
Moms in the huddle, where they at?
In a huddle. Moms
in the huddle, where they at? In the huddle. That's the anthem. Get them hands up. Hey, we in the huddle, y'all. Don't forget, we come on every Monday. Like, comment, subscribe. Let everybody know that we are here and in your face. If you want to be on Moms in the Huddle, reach out to us on our website, on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everything. Jillian set everything up for us. She's the marketing expert. So make sure you reach out to us. Y'all have a great huddle time.
Follow us too. So follow us on social media, Facebook, LinkedIn. So follow Moms in the Huddle, but also follow us as well. All righty.
All right. Have a good one. We'll see you guys next week with who we have next week. We have another walk-on from Michigan, Jalen Hoffman, him and his mom, Janelle Hoffman. And so they're going to be coming on and talk about their experience as from walk-on to scholarship. Y'all don't want to miss that.
I love it. Go Blue.
Have a great rest of your week. Go Blue. You saying that a little too good. Ain't no telling what's going to happen. Go Blue. Go Blue.
Oh, Kimberly Edwards said, just made it to the last part. I have to watch it. Yes,
Kimberly, man, you have to watch us on YouTube. Thank you for making it here. Yes. All right. And you can rewatch, guys, on our YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your day. Stay blessed.
All right. Bye-bye.